The internet is saying a DNA test changed everything. But what's actually real? When Stefon Diggs started trending alongside I am Cardi, timelines exploded with claims that a shocking paternity twist had just been exposed. Screenshots, reaction videos, emotional captions. And suddenly, people were declaring that the truth had come out. But here's the problem. Where did this DNA story even start? Was there an official statement? Was there confirmed documentation? Or did one viral post spiral into a full-blown cheating narrative overnight? Because in today's digital culture, repetition feels like proof, silence feels like guilt, and rumor spreads faster than reality. Tonight, we're breaking down how a supposed DNA claim took over social media, and whether this is evidence or just another case of media narratives and internet rumors running wild. Before anyone reacts emotionally, we have to ask one simple question. Who confirmed a DNA test? When Stefon Diggs and I am Cardi started trending together, it wasn't because of an official court document. It wasn't because of a verified press conference. It wasn't because either of them publicly announced a paternity dispute. It started with a post. Actually, it started with a rumor about a post. A screenshot began circulating across X and TikTok, claiming that a source close to the situation said a DNA test had proven something shocking. There was no visible lab report, no verified legal filing, no statement from either party, just text on a screen. But that's all it takes in 2026. Within hours, reaction channels were uploading videos with dramatic titles. Comment sections filled with people declaring Cardi cheated. Others insisted Diggs had been played. And suddenly, the narrative wasn't speculation. It was treated like confirmed betrayal. This is how media narratives and internet rumors evolve. Step 1. A claim appears without documentation. Where Step 2. It's reposted with dramatic framing. Step 3. Influencers react emotionally. Step 4. The algorithm detects engagement. Step 5. The story explodes. No verification required. The most interesting part? Many viewers never saw an original source. They saw reactions to reactions. By the third layer of reposting, the claim felt established, even though no one could trace it to a confirmed statement. This is called information laundering. A rumor starts small, gets amplified, and then reappears as people are saying. That phrase gives it artificial credibility. Once enough accounts repeat it, it feels legitimate. But repetition is not proof. At the time of this viral surge, there was no publicly verified DNA document released, no confirmed legal paternity challenge tied to Cardi and Diggs, no official acknowledgement from either side validating the claim. Yet social media treated it like breaking news. Why? Because paternity stories are explosive. They combine relationship drama, betrayal, public humiliation, emotional fallout. That emotional cocktail drives engagement at an extreme level, and engagement is currency in the digital world. Another factor that fueled the narrative was silence. Neither Cardi nor Diggs immediately addressed the rumor directly. In online culture, silence often gets interpreted as confirmation. But silence can mean many things. Ignoring nonsense, legal advice, protecting privacy, simply not entertaining speculation. Silence is not evidence. Still, the longer no clarification appears, the more the rumor grows. By the end of the first 24 hours, the storyline had evolved from, "Is there a DNA test?" to, "The DNA proved it." That shift happened without documented proof, only amplification. And that's the real story here. Not whether a test exists, but how quickly a rumor can transform into perceived reality. Once the supposed DNA claim started circulating, something predictable happened. The narrative escalated. It didn't stay at, "Is there a test?" It jumped to, "She cheated." And that jump is where media narratives and internet rumors become powerful and dangerous. Here's how it unfolded. First, the alleged DNA rumor created uncertainty. Uncertainty makes people uncomfortable, so the internet rushed to fill in the blanks. If a DNA test proved something, then there must have been doubt. If there was doubt, then there must have been betrayal. That's how the logic chain formed, even without verified documentation. Within hours, creators were posting, "This is embarrassing." He trusted her. The truth finally came out. Notice something critical. None of those statements referenced a confirmed source. They referenced the rumor. This is escalation through assumption. The moment paternity is questioned online, most audiences instinctively connect it to cheating. It's emotional shorthand. Instead of waiting for context, viewers jump to the most dramatic explanation. Why? Because betrayal stories generate extreme engagement. They trigger outrage, sympathy, loyalty debates, gender-based arguments, team dynamics, Team Cardi versus Team Diggs. Conflict increases comments. Comments increase reach. Reach increases perceived legitimacy. By the time the third wave of reaction videos appeared, many viewers were speaking as if cheating had been proven, even though no verified evidence had been publicly released confirming such an event. This is called narrative acceleration. Each new repost doesn't just repeat the rumor, it intensifies it. DNA test becomes DNA confirmed. Confirmed becomes she cheated. She cheated becomes he broke down. And suddenly, an entire emotional storyline exists, without a documented origin. Another key factor is emotional projection. Fans bring their own experiences into celebrity narratives. If someone has experienced betrayal in their personal life, they're more likely to believe the cheating angle quickly. It feels relatable. Relatability feels true. But relatable doesn't mean verified. There's also the issue of anonymity. Many of the original posts pushing the DNA narrative came from unverified accounts. No official legal filings were linked. No confirmed court records were cited. Yet the rumor spread across platforms like wildfire. That's the danger of screenshot culture. A single image, without metadata, without source, without context, can move faster than a press release. And once major gossip pages repost it, it gains artificial credibility. At that point, the rumor doesn't need proof. It has volume. Volume feels like validation. But volume is just noise multiplied. It's important to clarify again. As of publicly available confirmed information, there has been no verified DNA report released proving paternity claims tied to Cardi B and Stefon Diggs. There has been no official public statement confirming cheating allegations connected to this rumor. What exists is amplification. Amplification layered onto speculation, speculation layered onto timing, and timing layered onto audience emotion. The cheating narrative didn't begin with documentation, it began with assumption. At this stage, the rumor wasn't just circulating, but it was evolving. The word that changed everything? Proven. Once creators started adding phrases like DNA proves or truth exposed to thumbnails, the narrative crossed a psychological line. It no longer sounded like speculation, it sounded final. But where was the documented proof? That's the question almost no one paused to ask. When at Stefon Diggs and at I Am Cardi began trending together under paternity headlines, the algorithm detected something powerful: emotional volatility. And emotional volatility equals watch time. Here's what happens inside digital platforms. Content that triggers strong reactions, shock, anger, betrayal, sympathy, keeps people engaged longer. Longer engagement tells the algorithm the content is valuable. The algorithm then distributes it to more people. It doesn't check whether the DNA test exists. It checks whether viewers stay. So once the cheating angle layered onto the DNA rumor, retention skyrocketed. And reaction videos featured dramatic pauses, slow zooms, sad background music, titles in all caps. Proven. Confirmed. Heartbreak. Those words act as cognitive shortcuts. They eliminate doubt. They suggest authority. But authority without documentation is just confidence. This is something called assertion bias. When information is presented confidently, audiences are more likely to accept it, even without evidence. If a creator says something with certainty, Many viewers interpret that certainty as proof. Add repetition, and the illusion strengthens. When multiple channels repeat the same phrase, even if they're all sourcing the same unverified rumor, it creates perceived consensus. Perceived consensus feels like reality, but consensus can form around misinformation just as easily as truth. Another factor accelerating this narrative was speed. Rumors evolve rapidly because corrections move slowly. Fact-checking takes time. Legal documentation requires verification. Official statements involve PR teams. Rumors require none of that. A rumor can go live in seconds. By the time any clarification could appear, the word proven had already saturated timelines. There's also emotional contagion. When viewers see thousands of comments expressing outrage or heartbreak, they absorb that emotional tone before analyzing facts. The mood becomes contagious. Suddenly, people aren't just reacting to a rumor. They're reacting to each other's reactions. That feedback loop intensifies belief. And then comes identity defense. Fans of Cardi rush to defend her. Fans of Diggs rush to defend him. Neutral viewers choose sides based on emotional alignment. Debate increases. Debate increases engagement. Engagement increases visibility. Visibility increases perceived legitimacy. And the cycle continues. All of this can occur without a single verified document. It's important to restate something clearly. As of confirmed public information, there has been no verified DNA report publicly released proving paternity claims between Cardi B and Stefon Diggs. There has been no official confirmation of cheating allegations tied to this specific rumor cycle. What we're observing is narrative construction, not legal confirmation. And narrative construction is powerful. Once an idea anchors in public consciousness, it becomes difficult to separate from memory, even if later disproven. This is called the anchoring effect. The first dramatic version people hear often shapes long-term perception. So even if the rumor fades or gets clarified, the phrase DNA proved may remain associated with their names in search results and audience memory. In Part 4, we'll examine why paternity rumors are among the most viral forms of celebrity content, and why audiences are psychologically drawn to stories that combine betrayal, humiliation, and public fallout. Because the real story here isn't just about DNA. There's a reason the DNA proved it storyline exploded so fast. Paternity rumors are one of the most emotionally charged narratives in celebrity culture. When names like @Stefon Diggs and @I am Cardi get attached to a supposed DNA twist, the story doesn't just feel dramatic, it feels cinematic. Why? Because it combines three powerful triggers: love, betrayal, public humiliation. That combination is algorithm gold. Let's break this down psychologically. First, paternity stories create instant stakes. They're not just about dating drama. They involve identity, legacy, family, reputation. The moment a DNA claim enters the conversation, everything feels higher. Second, they activate moral outrage. Audiences don't just watch, they judge. They debate loyalty, trust, and responsibility. Outrage fuels comments. Comments fuel reach. Third, they introduce humiliation dynamics. If someone believes a public figure was played, sympathy and mockery collide in the same comment section. That emotional tension increases engagement dramatically. But here's the key distinction. Emotional intensity does not equal factual confirmation. The reason the supposed DNA rumor spread so aggressively wasn't because verified documentation appeared. It spread because the idea of a DNA twist is irresistible to the internet. Add celebrity status to that idea, and the virality multiplies. There's also the gender factor. Paternity rumors often spark gender-based debates. Some viewers instinctively defend the woman. Others instinctively defend the man. The conversation becomes polarized almost immediately. Polarization drives retention. The more divided the audience, the longer the debate lasts. And the longer the debate lasts, the more the algorithm distributes it. Another factor is past celebrity history. Over the years, the public has seen documented cases where paternity disputes were real in other celebrity situations. Because those cases existed, audiences become conditioned to believe similar stories quickly. This is pattern recognition bias. If it has happened before in celebrity culture, the brain assumes it could easily happen again, even without evidence in the current situation. Now combine that with speed. Rumors don't wait for lab reports. They don't wait for court filings. They don't wait for official interviews. They rely on timing and reaction. Once the cheating narrative attached itself to the DNA rumor, the story had everything it needed: shock, emotion, conflict, uncertainty. And uncertainty is powerful. People hate not knowing, so they fill in gaps with assumptions. Those assumptions, repeated enough times, start to feel like facts. But let's pause again. As of publicly verified information, there has been no confirmed DNA report released proving paternity claims involving Cardi B and Stefon Diggs. There has been no official documented statement confirming cheating allegations tied to this rumor cycle. What we're observing is a textbook case of media narratives and internet rumors escalating beyond available evidence. And that escalation teaches something important. The internet doesn't require documentation to move forward. It requires attention. And paternity rumors generate attention at an extreme level. At this stage, the rumor had everything it needed to survive: emotion, conflict, repetition, division. But what kept it alive? Silence. When neither at I Am Cardi nor at Stefon Diggs immediately issued a detailed public statement addressing the DNA speculation, the internet interpreted that silence in its own way. And in digital culture, silence rarely stays neutral. It becomes, why haven't they denied it? If it's fake, why not shut it down? There must be something there. This is assumption layered onto absence. But silence can mean many things: choosing privacy, ignoring baseless rumors, legal guidance, protecting family, simply not engaging with internet noise. Yet online, silence often gets framed as confirmation. This is known as ambiguity bias. When information is unclear, people lean toward interpretations that fit the most emotionally dramatic narrative already circulating. And at this point, the dramatic narrative was loud. Another powerful force keeping the story alive was timing. The alleged DNA rumor didn't appear in isolation. It surfaced during a period of heightened attention around both Cardi and Diggs. When public interest is already elevated, any new claim, no matter how thin, gains traction faster. Timing gives weight to coincidence. If a vague rumor appears during peak engagement, it feels intentional, even if it's random. Now add audience projection. Viewers bring their own experiences into celebrity stories. If someone has experienced betrayal in their personal life, they're more likely to believe cheating narratives quickly. If someone distrusts celebrity relationships, they'll interpret silence as concealment. Personal bias becomes public certainty, and then comes repetition. When creators upload multiple videos referencing DNA proved or truth exposed, even without sourcing official documentation, the idea becomes familiar. Familiarity breeds belief. This is called the familiarity effect. The more often you hear a claim, the more credible it feels, even if you never saw proof. At this stage, many viewers weren't asking for evidence anymore. They were reacting to the story as if it had already been confirmed. That's the tipping point in media narratives and internet rumors, when emotional momentum replaces factual verification. And here's the most important distinction. There is no publicly verified documentation confirming a DNA test result proving paternity claims between Cardi B and Stefon Diggs. There is no official statement confirming cheating tied to this rumor. What exists is viral amplification, emotional projection, narrative stacking, algorithmic distribution. But the human brain doesn't process algorithmic distribution. It processes, everyone is talking about it. And when everyone appears to be talking about something, it feels real. In the final part, We'll break down what this entire situation teaches us about how fast digital narratives can redefine reality, and how to separate emotional headlines from documented truth. Because in the age of virality, momentum can look a lot like evidence. By now, the rumor has taken on a life of its own. What started as an unverified post turned into DNA proved. She cheated. He broke down. But let's strip it back to the foundation. Where was the official document? Where was the verified lab report? Where was the direct statement confirming those claims? This is the defining pattern of media narratives and internet rumors in the digital era. A claim appears. It gets reposted. It gets dramatized. It gets repeated. It gets believed. And belief spreads faster than verification. When at I Am Cardi and at Stefon Diggs trend together under explosive headlines, audiences don't wait for paperwork. They react to emotion. The bigger the emotional charge, the faster the spread. This entire situation reveals something critical about modern media ecosystems. The algorithm does not measure truth. It measures engagement. If a video keeps viewers watching, arguing, and commenting, it wins. And once it wins, it gets amplified. Amplification creates visibility. Visibility creates familiarity. Familiarity creates perceived legitimacy. But perceived legitimacy is not the same as confirmed reality. It's important to restate clearly. As of publicly verified information, there has been no confirmed DNA documentation released proving paternity claims tied to this rumor. There has been no official statement confirming cheating connected to this viral narrative. Yet for many viewers, the story feels settled. That's the anchoring effect. The first dramatic version people hear often becomes their long-term memory of the event, even if clarification arrives later. Another factor is digital permanence. Even if the rumor fades, search results, thumbnails, and hashtags may continue associating DNA and cheating with their names. That's the long shadow of viral speculation, and that shadow can persist regardless of evidence. So what does this teach us? It teaches us that in the era of instant content, silence is misread, timing is exaggerated, repetition replaces verification. Most importantly, it teaches us that emotional storytelling is not the same thing as documented fact. The real story here isn't just about Cardi or Diggs. It's about how quickly the internet can construct a full narrative arc, complete with betrayal, proof, and emotional fallout, without a confirmed source. Momentum can feel like evidence, but momentum is just speed. And speed is not proof. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think the internet jumped too fast with the DNA and cheating claims about at I Am Cardi and at Stefon Diggs? Or do you believe there's more happening behind the scenes than we're seeing? Drop your thoughts below, but keep it respectful and fact-based. In today's digital world, trending doesn't always mean verified, and repetition doesn't always mean proven. If you want more deep dives into media narratives and internet rumors, I'd make sure you like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We don't just follow headlines, we analyze how they're built. Share this with someone who believes every viral post instantly. Let's slow the timeline down and separate emotion from evidence. Because sometimes the biggest shock isn't the rumor, it's how fast we believed it.